say good morning to listeners. Let me say good morning to the viewers of course, GBN TV. Welcome to The Point. It's Monday, the 22nd day of September 2025. Those of you via social media platforms, good morning and welcome back. Those of you via the Facebook page, YouTube channels, let me say good morning, Mr. McIntyre. I know Mr. McIntyre, for the entire week last week, we practically had no television viewers up to The Point.
Right.
Almost the entire week because of the fact that we were carrying the World Champions. So we didn't have any. So welcome back to our viewers this morning.
Yes, we need to say that. We need to say that to them.
I'm certainly happy to have you back. There were folks who missed that particular aspect of it. They folks like to see you.
They like to hear.
Other than just actually hearing you. They like to see you.
Right.
You ever visit and all the family members? They're so happy to see
you.
You're calling me on the phone all the time.
And there's an emphasis on seeing you.
That's so true.
Yes.
So welcome this morning. So how's everything with you this morning?
Oh, I'm good. I'm blessed. Thank God. I had a wonderful weekend. It's just that between last night and this morning, I had a passing.
Okay.
And that's one of my pets, one of my dogs.
Okay.
Passed last night.
I know what that's like.
And so I had to put him away. I had to secure him this morning, and so on. We'll probably have a little repose later on, do some flowers and stuff.
Something like that.
Unfortunately, it's one of the dogs that was left by my son.
Okay.
So it's kind of still very nostalgic and so forth. But outside of that, I'm fine. I'm giving God thanks for great health, and good energy, and all the things that. Positive thing that people say, even the negative ones, we still look at them because they help us to
propel, move forward. Whatever is that they throw at you, sometimes you have to look at it in a particular way of helping yourself to grow with it. Mm-hmm. You understand?
Yes, and I'm blessed. So we're happy to be here, and I'm very glad that our viewers can engage with us with the optics this morning. They can see us actually.
Yes.
And they can
that visual effect. That visual effect. So of course, we're going to kick this segment off with the flowers.
Yes,
Who are we giving flowers to this morning, sir?
We had some rains and so on over the weekend.
It was kind of that rain on, what was it, Saturday evening?
Well, yeah, we had some Saturday. We had a bit Sunday, but those were due to some tropical effects we had. We have two systems that are actually not of us, so they give us sometimes the tail ends of those effects.
Yeah, but after that blazing sun during the course
I was about to say that sun, but that's a good indicator. I think the older people would understand when you feel the sun in a particular way. Mm-hmm. You know that they would say bad weather is on its way, or bad weather is in the region.
And they had no technology to assist them to the magnitude then, eh?
Exactly. They had it's like now when you feel there's somebody say, well, when rain and sun jump be married in.
Yeah.
Right. And sometimes you feel a hot and cold kind of an air that is intermixed. That's also an atmospheric condition that sometimes tell you that things are changing and sometimes tropical systems are brewing.
And there was a level of accuracy back then, even without the level of technology that we have today to assist us.
Yeah.
And they were sometimes very, very accurate in terms of predicting the weather condition.
Correct. Mm-hmm. And a little bit of the flower, sometimes we forget the citizens that do make contributions. Last week we spoke about them.
Yeah.
And sometimes people tend to believe that we hit hard, but we raise the issues and we talk about them. I remember there was one time we were beating up that strip of road between Snow Corner all the way up to Monkuma and stuff. Yeah. Remember the traffic used to be very, very bad on that road?
Because of the fact that they were trucks or vehicles were only
parking
along
on that side.
On the causing that obstruction.
Right. We clamored for it and we got it, right?
Yeah.
And I really want to commend flowers for the gentleman, I think, who owned a garage on the opposite side. I think he really heeded and removed all of the vehicles that were on the repair from off the road onto the side. Well, the only thing now and then there's a blue truck late sometime at park, but not too often.
Right.
But that has subsided quite a bit. It has eased the flow of the traffic, and people can feel a sense of breathing a lot better because when you come up, there's a deep bend and there's some residents.
Yeah, that obstruction usually sometimes is dangerous. Eh?
It is.
Because sometimes the oncoming vehicle is not visible to you.
Yes.
It's not visible to you, and if something is obstructing you there and you swing off, somebody's coming down. Thank God there's never been a major accident on that corner before. Thank God for that. But the obstruction is something that used to be of concern, especially to me, who traverses that area from time to time.
Yes.
So I know specifically what you're talking about, that particular area.
And I don't know the name of the gentleman, but I guess if he's listening, somebody can tell him.
I know him well.
We really want to commend him for that, and we look to see that kind of a cooperation across country, because like we're going to show in our videos and footage later on a couple of obstructions and so on, and as I'll tell you, last evening again I counted like about 10 to 20 vehicles on the side of the road in one of the communities that are under repair, supposed to be repaired, and some of them have been there for very, very long. And these are the kind of a thing that we need to raise, even if sometimes people think that our programs seem to be repeating itself, but we have to be able to speak about the issues until they are addressed. So unfortunately, this is what our program is about. Speaking about the issues, road traffic situation, and things that create some kind of a risk and hazard. And as long as they are not modified or removed or changed,
we're going to have to speak about it. There's going to be something done about it.
And those people who adhere and they follow through and they do those little things, our society sometimes is very punishing to people who are law abiding. Sometimes we don't tend to recognize them and say a little thank you. A little thank you goes a very long way, and people tend to believe, well, you know what, I'm not recognized, I'm not appreciated. If I do it, what sense does it make if I do it? When you say, you know, sir, I thank you for what you've just done, that sends something right through the veins and sinews of an individual, and that's good.
I agree with you with that, because sometimes it brings a feeling of fulfillment to that individual in terms of what they did or what they're doing. You understand, by just that basic thank you for it sometimes. And you know, sometimes I remember one time, Mr. McIntyre, I was home, and there's a workplace close to me, and an individual got his hand squeezed in the machine.
Right.
And I got out and I took him to the hospital.
Right.
And I was never told thanks.
Not that you wanted it. Thank you.
I wanted it.
Yes.
And sometimes I see the individual from time to time, his family, his mother. Nobody ever said thanks to me once.
Yeah.
It's not, as I said, I'm not saying because I wanted. We just come with the conversation. I just brought it up.
Yeah.
You know, and I thought I put myself out. I broke traffic.
Right.
to get him to the hospital. He could have lost his hand.
Right.
You understand?
Right.
They have those, you know, those block machines they used to making blocks. Those,
right.
Got squeezed, and somehow he got his hand in there when it's coming to compress.
Right.
I don't know how he hand got in there, but he hand got in there and it squeezed.
Yes.
And he tried to pull it.
Right.
So you know that the skin and everything was attracted with the bone and everything.
Yeah.
But thank God his hand was on, he didn't lose it.
Okay, good.
I was not told thanks.
Wow. and as we are on
Blooded
that,
up all my vehicle.
I know. As we are on that thank you vein, though, I remember one time we spoke about community disaster readiness.
Yeah.
I'm sure people will remember when I spoke about the St. David's area when we were doing some training for them. And they called me up a couple of days ago and said, Mr. McLeod, you know, we're considering some further training for our district, you know, to ensure that we have all things ready. We're looking for aspect of management in supplies and all these things and so forth. Can you assist us? And I said, oh, absolutely, no problem. And they said, you know what, the training that you've done for us recently, we appreciated it so highly. And it was mentioned to the Prime Minister. They said, the Prime Minister was told about it. I know what Prime Minister said. He said, let us give him a little stipend. I smiled big. I really want to say openly thank you to the district and so on. Not for the little stipend that I'm likely to receive, but
the recognition in general.
The recognition, just that they say that they appreciate it, and you know, it got to the Prime Minister and he said, things like that, you cannot allow it to go unnoticed. And so they said, you know what? You gave off your time, your vehicle, your everything else, your resources to do that. And we think it is only fair and fitting that.
You know, there's always that saying, it's the little things that count, sir.
Yeah, and I really want to say thanks to them.
The little thing that counts.
Petra, Jenny, and the others, hats off. Thank you all very much.
All right.
Yeah, man.
Makeda, we drew for a break. Of course, in our chit-chat segment, we could take a break. When we come back, we want to take the time out to on a reflective note when we come back in the next segment.
Yes.
Not only reflective, but also we do have those pictures and videos we want to show in terms of things that we think could be remedied.
Yes.
If it's taken care when we come back.
And what's the reflective on? You said the reflective would be on?
Oh, Hurricane Janet. But we're going to do
70 years ago.
70 years ago.
Great. So let people prepare themselves like they can call it.
We will, of course, do that in a term of a call-in segment.
Yes.
You've probably been there back then, maybe youngster, or you probably at a particular age that you remember vividly what happened.
Yes.
We will certainly like to entertain that segment when we come back. Not only when we come back, but during the course of the program when we come back this morning. Yes. So, Master Controller, we're going to get of course, our lineup ready for when we come back in the next segment. Stay with us, folks. To the Point Classic Radio. We'll be right back after the break.
let's celebrate the 19th annual Hubbard's Legends in Concert on Sunday, November 9th from 5 p.m. at the Grenada Trade Center with the best of Grenada along with the Black Prince and the Pink Panther. Our partners, Hubbard's, GBN, Grenada Paper Products, Grenada Distillers Limited, makers of Clax Court, Grenada's #1 rum, Brentville Credit Union, Bryden and Miners, Agents 4, Johnny Walker, Smyrna Vodka, and Campari, Renwick Thompson and Company Limited, Pierre Marcel, Hard On Plus, Gittins Healthcare, Dollar Savers Auto Parts, Rise and Shine Supermarket, Springs Food Mart, Excel Plaza, Clem Vision Eye Center, Chillaxing Cafe, Answer Coating, Victory Bar, Blue Bubba's PA Rental and Events Supply, Chateau de la Motte, Grenada, Captain Harris Apartments, Gem Holiday, Beach Resorts, Dana's City Inn, Glen Egg, Spring Water, and the Grenada Trade Center. Sunday, November 9th, 5 p.m. Grenada Trade Center, the 19th annual Hubbard's Legends in Concert. Please be seated by 4 p.m. Hubbard's Legends in Concert.
Are you ready to take charge of your money, build wealth, and protect your family's legacy? Then join us on October 9th, 2025 at Radisson Grenada Beach Resort for your Financial Future 2.0, Legacy, Literacy, and Liberation, a one-day financial summit designed to break cycles, build wealth, and leave a lasting legacy. You'll gain real-life budgeting hacks, a money mindset reboot, steps to create generational wealth, and practical tips on investing, estate planning, insurance, health, and business finance, all from expert speakers who know how to turn knowledge into action. With 2 inspirational keynotes, 3 powerful panel discussions, and 6 breakout sessions, you will leave with your personalized action plan for success. Don't wait. Secure your seat today. Tickets are EC $350 at disruptiveleadershipconference.com/YFF. Your Financial Future 2.0. Your next chapter starts here.
This coming Monday on Beyond the Headlines, we go inside the issues with the Royal Grenada Police Force. In studio will be Inspector Dexter Roberts of the Coast Guard and Inspector Alison Williams of the Immigration Department. Join us as we tackle the challenges, solutions, and strategies to keep our nation safe. Beyond the Headlines, Monday at 8:30 p.m. only on GBN. Don't miss it.
Saying good morning once again to our listeners and viewers of Classic Radio. Welcome to The Point. Those of you via social media platforms, good morning to you also, and it's a pleasure to have you back with us this morning. Mr. McIntyre, welcome back. This segment, we want to, of course, have a couple of videos, some still photos that we want to show of potential, hazards that could occur. And, certainly hope that the authority could look into it, have those remedies as soon as possible. Or if maybe for some reason they may never thought about it. Sometimes people in authority sometimes don't see things. Right. I don't know why, but they don't see the way or pay attention to it the way maybe you or myself or other individuals.
Or sometimes if they do pay attention, we don't get the feedback that attention has been paid, so we're not left with a choice.
Or maybe attention is given, but for somehow, the bureaucracy that rolls around with these things in terms of having it done in a timely manner could be a problem. Yeah. You understand? So we're going to go over to master control shortly. Show that. I don't know if you want to kind of preempt into what we're going to look at before we actually get into those actual
It was over a year ago, and we had one of our callers when we mentioned it last week, or a week before, was it? And he spoke of the environmental concern, and he was happy that we raised it. I think, and that was the leaching of the fuel, used fuel in the dusty highway area, and some of the vehicles that are using the sidewalk, and that goes beyond just the dusty highway. We said across Grenada in some places that creates a traffic hazard and environmental concern. Definitely, the leaching that can lead into our coastlines, into the sea, and that can have effect on our marine life. And we believe that over a year plus that we've been clamoring, I don't think it's just us, but other people may have spoken about it, and it has not been addressed. We think that it's something that is brewing, it is growing, and it could become worse. Sometimes, if it is not our generation, I'm almost sure it probably would be, and is already affecting an aspect of our generation.
The importance of it, sir. Do you think the importance of what you've seen, what you've seen, how important is it for something to be done to remedy that problem? How important do you think it is?
It is very, very important. I mentioned the marine life. We depend on fishing quite a bit. In the south and the southeastern aspect of the island, there's a lot of sea moss farming and all that takes place, but they need a particular environment in which that they would grow and flourish. In addition to that, even if they did grow and flourish or otherwise, but the pollution that can get into these that can eventually be consumed by persons. You use the fish, they may die, you may cause when they come into the mangrove and the oil and other things are there, it definitely is going to push them away. And because it's a foreign element to that kind of marine life, it will have devastating consequence, meaning that they would die. So when they come there to do the eggs and the young ones, etc., those are going to perish because the environment is not suited for that. And when you have oil especially that gets into water, you know what it does? It cuts off the atmospheric air condition that is likely to impact on the surface of the water and make its way all the way down into the sea itself or other waterways. When it gets into the sea surface and it gets into your coral reef and there's the bleaching of it depletes, and so you have the marine life moving away. The sea moss and the other things that should grow and flourish, they are also affected, and the fish that would feed off those reefs, they would either go further away or they would die eventually. So it is important that upstream and up inland that the environment, the ecosystem is really managed. And that is an aspect of not managing our ecosystem properly, because that kind of hazard that we speak about, it's one of it that goes and make its way into the land, because when oil gets into land, it does not go away easy. It stays in there for years and years and years, and you'll have to recreate the aspect of the soil to get it to be diversified in some way, or to change in some means. But when you have oil leaching or getting into your land system, it will affect growing plants and trees, etc. The other aspect of it, we think, is the safety of pedestrians and joggers who want that kind of a clean and clear environment to jog. We recognize what's going on in the south of the island. There's lots of construction undertaken. We have the now water to the south project that is undertaken. In addition, quite a number of buildings have been built in the south. And so people who sometimes don't really have the time to get into a field, or otherwise because of the congestions of people and sometimes unwarranted behavior of persons who assemble in particular ways, they feel a sense of peace and tranquility jogging on our streets early in the morning and the afternoon. But when you have to move into the motorway, it produces that level of risk. It creates those kind of accidents. And I know people who say or said that they don't want to be jogging in those areas because they feel a sense of their life is threatened. They would have to step into the motorway and therefore putting themselves at risk. And we believe that if those vehicles are taken into guard spaces off the walkways, pedestrian cross and sidewalks, we believe that people would feel a greater sense of safety. And that's the bottom line for all of these things. That's the south end of the island, the dusty highway that we're speaking about. You look at that strip of road, what are we seeing? Vehicles on the sidewalk. That's the sidewalk. And in some case, you'll see that they kind of push it deeper into the edge. Still taking about an aspect of it.
It's not available for pedestrians to walk anymore.
Exactly. And look at the ones that we're watching right now. They're taking up the entire pedestrian sidewalkway. And that is not our next country that we're speaking about. We're speaking about Grenada, where prominent people would drive, I hope. Other persons would shop in those areas. We do have, even as a matter of fact, a couple of days ago I was driving down that area and I saw about close to a dozen, seemed like medical students. They were jogging in a cluster of that street. and traffic were coming in their direction, and then they had to be thinning out and breaking down into smaller numbers and so on, just for their own safety. But we're saying we should create the aesthetics and the environment that will really make people feel comfortable, make it healthy, let it feel healthy and light,
where is the authority in this, Mr. McIntyre, in terms of speaking to the individuals who are using the the sidewalks and so forth for regular parking and not using it and not having it used for the purpose that it should be used?
Right. I don't represent the authority, and we're hoping that programs like this, GT, would make the authority become more aware, more conscious, and it's not just me. We are the ones with the eyes on the issues, so we're speaking about it. But there are other persons who have seen it. I want Master Control to go back on the aspect where we spoke about those barrels, those
the oil
tank-looking containers, where they are broken. I think there's a footage where I took a picture of the inside, where people are actually putting bottles, like the soft drink bottles.
Like
look at that.
A garbage dump.
You see that? And this is inside of. Thank you, Master Controller. Is really good. Inside of. The fuel is inside there, and they still. That is unsightly. Look at. This is Grenada. This is our street. And this is where people pass, and this is where we try to speak about having a beautiful Grenada, pure Grenada, and everything like that. That does not reflect a pure Grenada, to be honest. It's just one aspect of it.
But was permission granted in individual for storage of these things? Do you know of that, sir? If permission was granted by individual to store these containers there? I seem to have used oil. Or
I'm not aware that permission is granted. I would think that if permission was granted, somebody's head should roll technically, because it is not the kind of thing that you want to do, and it should be reconsidered. On a road space, I doubt. I don't think anybody would be so to give permission to
maybe you have a week or so to get rid of it. Rest of it for a week and get rid of it. But then it's been there for almost years now.
Oh, you make a different point. In terms of the permission could be conditional.
I'm trying to be a little bit civil about it. Maybe someone will say, yes, you could leave it there maybe for a week or two if you're going to have it removed and disposed of in the proper way. So
where does that take us? Back into what we are used to doing. We speak about things for a couple of days. Look at, you see those tanks we're speaking about?
Yes.
A number of them. I believe after this program, some actions
will take place.
It happened after our programs, because I know maybe some other entities, media entities, will probably follow and expand on this a little bit more, because I'm sure people spoke about it before us, and we're speaking about it now. They are deteriorating. The oil is on the street. It's in there. The trees are behind. That's a big problem.
That's what you spoke about earlier in terms of these use, if there's oil or stuff in it now, it has gone on into the soil. You understand?
Yes.
And that is not healthy at all.
Definitely isn't healthy. So I'm really happy that Master Control brought all this up, and it looked like cool photos of the area. I mean, those are amateur photos taken actually, but they brought out the picture and the message of what we're trying to say. And this is, as I said, not only in that part of the island, but it's happening in a few places. I actually have some other shots of others, but I think this that we just brought sends the message. Hopefully we can get a response. What we want callers of this program to do this morning is to give us your feedback as well as what you think could be and should be done about it, what is being done about it. As a matter of fact, if there is somebody who represents one of the state entities who know that there are things in the pipeline to do about it, I think we need to be informed. And I think these are the things that we need to stand up for. I think we should be able to see people picketing those areas with placards and everything else. Save our environment.
I agree.
Save our community. Save our mind.
But back then, a lot of groupings that used to take those particular action in terms of the pollution and so forth that they see around the island. I don't hear much conversation from them anymore.
Why? Is it because we've gotten so safe and so good? We are that good across. We are environmentally so conscious. We care so much for
are these organizations still in place?
Oh yeah, I heard about, there was one environment, I think the Green Group people. There's one called the Green Group. I know they would have spoken and because I think they are also involved in the plastic cleanup and recycling aspect of all that. I don't know if they spoke about that issue before, but if it's not, we want more voices on that. And we want more voices on the
And from time to time, you do see they take the initiative of going to the beaches and stuff and clean up all the plastic and stuff like that. And I think maybe an initiative should be done.
Yes.
In terms of having those containers removed.
Yes.
At the soonest. We could probably next program we have, you should be coming and tell us that something was done about this. After today, you're probably going to drive it tomorrow or the day after and see something was actually done about that.
Yes. And we speak on these 2 strips of road because that's within my neighborhood as well.
Okay.
And so I see those things almost every day. And unfortunately, I have to also drive the Morris Bishop Highway almost every day as well. And over the weekend, there was an accident. Looked serious because it seemed as though the vehicle left heading towards the airport on the left side where there is no sidewalk, obviously, and crossed that center path onto the opposite side and was over into the ditch close to the Frequenty entrance.
Okay.
That vehicle was head down and so on. I saw the police and I saw people surrounding. I don't think there were any injuries or fatalities or anything I saw. But we still continue to make the point that strip of road is still not well taken care of in terms of the safety of drivers, in terms of the safety of pedestrians, in terms of the safety of school children. It costs, again, we have to repeat it, the time that a police officer takes to stand on that street to help people, especially the school children, to cross, that investment in the hours calculated, converted into dollars, could go into what we spoke about, getting a walkover, a passover, or a flyover, how you call it, in that area, at least 2 of them. I mean, this is...
Well, we're going to see those walkover installed anytime soon?
Yes, we are going to see them.
Installed anytime soon?
We are going to see them, even if I have to ask for permission to do it on behalf of the foundation.
Yeah. I know they're on island already.
Because, I heard that they were on. I haven't seen anything about it.
They were actually part of a newscast sometime last year or so where they were actually showing them on island already.
Aspect of it on the island?
On island.
But there has been no salt turning ceremony or anything of
that nature. Yeah.
But my belly roll every time I pass there, and I think a lot of people have the same kind of a feeling that when they pass that strip. Every time you drive there and you would see somebody run halfway across and they stand up in the middle. And that same middle where people stand is where the vehicle would have crossed couple of days ago onto the other. So people are constantly at risk in that place. So there has to be some way. Listen, my last bit of energy will be continuing to go into ensuring that aspect of that safety on our roads, in that area in particular, that something be done about it. I will make international appeal to support Grenada if we do not have the resources to be able to do that we have a passover, walkover, or flyover for pedestrians to go over. People say, you know what, that is effort and futility because people will still run across from below.
Yeah.
But I mean, it might be in the minority, but I think the majority of people who want to cross over safely will take the time to go over.
I think individuals know if something is of a safe nature for them to use, they will use it.
Yes.
So if they know that walkover or flyover, as you mentioned, they know it's there and it's for their safety, it will be used.
So the aspect of negligence and all of this would be negated if we put things in place. There are people who will give you the mongoose and the goat crossing and the mongoose and rat kind of thing run across the road and so forth. They'll probably do that.
I like you for that.
But the aspect of what we should do towards the safety of our persons. In other words, scripturally, what you would want to say is that you take the blood off your shoulders by putting things in place that people should do.
Yeah.
So in other words, if they don't do it, you don't have to be blamed for it. You know that you made the effort to ensure. But right now, if people and items are being destroyed and people lose their lives and fatalities or injuries happen, we cannot say that their bloods are not on our shoulders, because I know, and a lot of people know, that not enough has been done in that area to ensure the safety of people.
I mean, I think we have gotten to a stage in Grenada now we know the extent of the traffic situation and so forth.
Right.
Grenada is not 30 years ago. Mm-hmm. No. Where you could have taken the chances in terms of how you use the roads and you have havoc way and not to worry about it.
Yes.
Now we have to be concerned in terms of oncoming and ongoing traffic all the time.
Of course.
You understand? Even worry about the reckless driving.
Right.
We have to be concerned about that. So I think it's high time that the authority do things that will safeguard road users.
Yes.
Not only the drivers themselves only, but especially pedestrians who are walking along the nation's road.
Yes.
Something has to be done about that.
And you remember in a couple of programs ago, we said we'll be looking at the aspects of the law and penalties regarding traffic violence and accidents and so on relative to these situations. And our research is showing that there's a lot we can do. And the voice has not been there in terms of pushing these things a bit more. And when you look at death by dangerous driving, manslaughter, death by manslaughter and these things, and, kind of it leaves a lot for you to think about. Could you consider a manslaughter situation where somebody drives beyond the speed limit recklessly, causes serious injury or fatality to someone? Should that be in the same category where somebody fails to pull the handbrake up, the vehicle roll back, and cause serious injury? Do they equate? And they say probably not. So we have to look at the aspects of the law, what we should do differently. And we spoke about, and we're going to clamor again for it, in terms of the alcohol consumption levels, how that microgram level is being measured, and the blood testing samples that our law enforcement people should do, and the time that they do it. You will hear us repeat these things because those things are things that they really need to be addressed. And we have to seem to take it serious. We look at the lighting in those areas again. Do we not have the ability to have better lighting on our strips of road? Lighting up or pedestrian crossings and so forth, and lighting up even that way that we call the highway. We look at the Morris Bishop Highway as you drive along. I don't know when last you drove there in the night, but the light is totally inadequate.
Night time in a pretty long time.
The yellow lights and the lights that are there, it does not keep the street and the areas bright. Worst case, then, it isn't lit sufficiently, and still there are pedestrians who will be using that road, but the access thoroughfare for them is not well established.
We have lost a couple of those lights there due to vehicles,
the accidents and so on. Yeah,
there have been a couple of those poles were destroyed over the years.
Right.
So I guess that has diminished the amount of lighting that used to be there. Okay, initially when those lights were put up, it was pretty lit a lot.
Yes.
In the initial stages, and if I'm sure there's been 5 or 6 or more lights have broken over the years and have never been replaced.
Yes. Commendable initiative for all the lighting of our playing fields across country. To encourage more recreation and to get our youth more involved. But we have to look at Grenada holistically, that we can't be focusing too heavy on one area, and then you have the others where in analysis you have people getting injured, your environment is degrading.
To be honest, we know everything cannot be done at the same time.
No.
We know everything cannot be done at the same time.
But a level of balance.
But there have to be a balance.
There has to be a level of balance.
There have to be a give and take. What is absolutely necessary, you have to put some attention, give it some attention.
Yes.
We need that break, Mr. McIntyre. We're due for it. Let's take it when we come back. We get into that other segment when we come back, where we will talk a wee bit about Hurricane Janet.
Yes. And the interaction
of Hurricane Janet.
Yes.
And then we want that feedback from our listeners and viewers out there. 435-2041. You have the option of calling in. Let's hear from you this morning as we speak about that. Stay with us. We'll be right back. Don't touch it out.
When you need your prescription.
This coming Monday on Beyond the Headlines, we go inside the issues with the Royal Grenada Police Force. In studio will be Inspector Dexter Roberts of the Coast Guard and Inspector Alison Williams of the Immigration Department. Join us as we tackle the challenges, solutions, and strategies to keep our nation safe. Beyond the Headlines, Monday at 8:30 p.m. only on GBN. Don't miss it.
Grenada, let's celebrate the 19th annual Hubbard's Legends in Concert on Sunday, November 9th from 5 p.m. at the Grenada Trade Center with the best of Grenada, along with the Black Prince and the Pink Panther. Our partners, Hubbard's, GBN, Grenada Paper Products, Grenada Distillers Limited, makers of Clacks Court, Grenada's #1 rum, Brentville Credit Union, Bryden and Miners, Agents 4, Johnny Walker, Smyrna Vodka, and Campari. Renwick Thompson and Company Limited, Pierre Marcel, Hard on Plus, Gittins Healthcare, Dollar Savers Auto Parts, Rise and Shine Supermarket, Springs Food Mart, Excel Plaza, Clem Vision Eye Center, Chillaxing Cafe, Ansett Coating, Victory Bar, Blue Bubba's PA Rental and Events Supply, Chateau de la Motte, Grenada, Captain Harris Apartments, Gem Holiday, Beach Resorts, Dana's City Inn, Glen Egg, Spring Water, and the Grenada Trade Center. Sunday, November 9th, 5 p.m. Grenada Trade Center, the 19th annual Hubbard's Legends in Concert. Please be seated by 4 p.m. Hubbard's Legends in Concert.
Welcome back, listeners. Welcome back, viewers. It's To The Point for today, Monday, the 22nd day of September 2025. Mr. McIntyre, welcome back.
Yes, sir.
Is it September the 22nd, 1955? Over
Yes.
right about that?
1955.
1955, 70 years of Hurricane Janet. The memory of it, I know there are probably lots of of listeners and viewers out there, maybe around that age range, who memory is still vivid
Right.
in terms of what may have taken place, and you maybe you would like to share some information with us in relation to that. What do you see back then and now? You know,
Right.
what you think in terms of the how things were handled back then, how things are even handled now, and so forth. What you would like to hear in relation to that, sir?
Yeah, because maybe 70 years on is probably the time maybe to close the doors on it. I don't think so, personally. And we spoke about documenting, librarying, archiving, and so forth, and we don't do a lot for research and history's sake. And if there isn't anything that we can take of the experience from 70 years ago, we may as well leave it to rest.
Yes.
And that too could be dependent on what the response from our viewing and listening public would give us the feedback on. But me coming many years after Hurricane Janet, I hadn't a clue as to what exactly went on until I got into disaster risk reduction, disaster management, and went in to find out, some of the things that happened. Contacted meteorology and figured out what strength and what areas of Grenada got and how people reacted to the situation. And like we mentioned in our program, there isn't a lot of conversation around this, and so that is why sometimes life could become a bit boring, and our youth will find there isn't a lot to do, a lot to find. So if we are able to find these things and make them interesting, make the stories and other things around them, like even the 49 years after Janet, you had Ivan and the Ivan stories and so on that people will tell you. Every time you speak about it, you speak to individuals, not those who call the radio station and television. They would tell you about their experience and what you realize that there's so many different perspectives how that thing affected or how some people benefited from the 20 years ago and the 70 years that went on as well. So what we would like to have is those kind of a continuous forum, and this is why we decided let's leave it open up, because a lot of times we come on our programs and we tend to feed and we tend to give. Actually, that's what the program is about. Yes. But the whole aspect of hearing from our viewing and listening audiences, your own views, giving you a bit more time to give us the experience, because I don't know of many persons in Grenada who've gone around and capture those stories and have it in a place that we can get them. And our program end up being this rich, because people say that some of the things that we raise and we speak about is things that you don't naturally would hear, and find the direction as to where you would get them. and not because I have a niche or a knack for disaster management, but I think it's because it resonates with us, with me as an individual, in terms of Grenada's history and how we can use the past to shape the future, and that's important. So I would really have loved to hear some, because I'm not really interacting with a lot of people who really came through Janet. Have you?
I have. I mean, I had conversation with my mom back then when she was alive, who spoke about it.
Right.
You understand? Some of it I can't really recall right now.
Right.
Very much, because I was not even, just her memory of how things was for her. What she went through, what she had to do. That's how she ended up being living in the area we're living today, because she has to move from one place to the next. After.
Right.
You understand? I remember those conversations.
Right.
Sometimes you don't hear much of an individual speaking in relation to that. And so we the lines are open right now to our listeners and viewers, 435-2041 with the WhatsApp and the direct line. Feel free to give me a call. Let's hear from you. You probably have something that could change the whole scope of how me and myself and Mr. McIntyre have been looking at things. So with information Mr. McIntyre may have had, there's something that you can say right now that could create a difference into the whole thing about Hurricane Janet.
Right.
We do have a first caller. Caller, you're live. Good morning via WhatsApp. Good morning.
Morning, sir. How are you?
Doing great. Doing great.
Good.
Let's hear from you.
Wonderful. A couple of observations. And it more or less pertains to the host. At this morning you're asking Mr. McIntyre, and he's versed in what he's doing. And you're asking the question, and you're asking him again if he understands.
Caller, I'm trying to get your direction, caller. Do you have something to speak in relation to Hurricane Janet as we're speaking about? Or is it you here to be critical of me or something like that?
And to Mr. McIntyre, do you have any experience in your life about September so dry?
Oh yeah. We've had a drier September's, subject to what the Met Office would speak about. I cannot give you the statistics on it. It's something we could follow up on for you, but somebody from Met Office will be able to tell you. What you find out is that this is one of the drier September's that you have experienced in your time on Earth.
I don't know. That's why I'm asking the question. I mean, the first experience I have, I never paid much attention to that. Yeah.
No, it's
September does do.
No, you're absolutely right. There's this September, in terms of the amount of rainfall, I don't think it is the driest we've had, but because Met Office would have spoken about it before it. We just gone halfway through the month of September, and usually, as you would know, September is peak hurricane season. But some hurricanes don't often come with a lot of water. Sometimes they do come with a lot of wind. Like we had, I think Ivan did not come with a lot of rain initially. She had more wind. Yeah. But Barry had the opposite. Yeah. So we can get that information from Met Office. So it's a good question in terms of the September, how you balance it. Because normally August is very, very hot. And September then would be the rain, and November would be also the rain. But so you're speaking about an area where a lot of people are afraid to touch.
I remember
climate change.
The week after Ivan, we got in a lot of rain. A couple of days, plenty.
That's correct.
Yeah.
That's correct. But we don't know what happened after Janet. And we wanted some of the older pups. I don't know if they all fade away or whatever. But now a lot of 70 years plus, 80 plus people maybe are calling in to tell us the experience. So I was saying this morning, maybe we should bury Janet.
But let me tell you, I mean, after the day after Ivan, I live in Windsor Forest. And I could have stayed in Windsor Forest, but I would probably rush up and ski to St. Paul's and probably up to Crowshield area.
Yes.
That was to tell you the amount of damage we had.
As a matter of fact, I think up Windsor Forest side, people said you could have seen all the way down to Point Celine.
Oh, yeah, very much so. Much so. Yeah.
Yes.
I stayed in Windsor Forest and I took a picture in backlit.
Right. And I heard people mention seeing, I think, they said they saw either Tobago or someplace somewhere one of because I think the atmosphere itself seemed to have been so clean and clear after that you probably saw islands and so on further beyond the normal reach.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thanks
for that. Okay.
But I'll find out. Thank you.
445-2041. If you have a contribution towards today's program, folks, as we speak about, of course, the memory of Hurricane Janet. If you want to chime in on that, feel free to do so, folks. We do have another caller. Caller, you're live. Good morning. Welcome.
Yeah, good morning.
Good morning to you, sir.
I hear you all speaking about Janet.
Yes, sir.
That morning, from around 7 o'clock, the rain started to fall very, very light.
Right.
And it started continuing up to about 12. And after 12, the wind started to raise, and we start to see the difference of the hurricane. And all around 3 o'clock, town had to close. When about 6 o'clock, everybody approximately had to go inside. And after that, it was wind and rain. And I will tell you, hell break loose. The morning when you get up.
Yeah. I have a question for you before you go further.
Yes, sir.
How did you all get the information as to what was happening about Janet? How did you know what to do? Were they radios? Were they horns? How were people informed what to do and how to be safe? And if you know what day of the week she actually came?
Well, let me see. I think I can't rightly remember the day, you know.
Okay, no problem.
If it's a Tuesday or Wednesday or what. But it wasn't easy.
Okay. Thank you very much.
Thank you, caller. Thank you very much.
Right.
Thank you very much. We didn't get the answer that we wanted in terms of how the information.
I'm interested in that. How people really
got to know what to do.
What to do. Well, I don't know what a little. We had Wibs on them radio stations in those times.
Some McIntyre accent.
Wibs, we know Island Broadcasting Corporation and so on. Remember that?
Back then, yes.
And then you had Radio Grenada.
Way before my time.
Yeah, way before my time too, GT. How old am I than you? Okay.
Caller, you're live. Good morning. Welcome.
Yes, well, good morning. Good morning to you both and to your listeners.
Yes, ma'am.
I just thought it prudent to call and share with you what was shared with me with Leslie Sion's story with Janet. He was the announcer on duty at Wibbs. Wibbs was located where GBSS is now, because remember again, that was after the World War II. So the barracks was still there, and Wibbs was in one room, he said. Okay, he had one chair, one mic.
I like that.
The governor of the Windward Islands was at Government House here in Grenada, and they had to get him to his chair in the studio. He said, Josephine, I stepped down and I set aside and I gave him the chair and he addressed the nation, right? But interestingly, that was before cell phones. Long before cell phones, long before people had every home had a landline. Good. Yeah, that was long before. So here what now? And also we had no Met Office.
Oh, okay.
You have to put it back in its context.
Correct. Good.
And we had a lot of little boat houses, so all of them were flat on the ground, because in those years when people wanted to build a house, they go in the bush, in the mountain, and find the right wood and thing, and they make maroon and they build houses.
Yes.
So all these little houses now were on the ground and thing. It was a mess. But here now, how he got the information, Leslie Sion, got the information to share to the few people who had radios then and who still had their home standing. He had a man, a courier, like we would say. A brave man, I would say. I would add the word brave. There was the cable office on the Carenage, and he was getting the information from Puerto Rico.
Right.
This man had to make it through, climb over trees, climb below what, climb through, go to the cable office, get the notice, bring it back to GBSS, to WIBS for Leslie Sion.
Yes.
Yeah?
Yes.
Can you imagine? Picture that. He
Yes.
had to climb over all kind of things, this, that, make all shortcut, get it, and he kept going for the entire day.
Oh, wow.
You see, we have some unsung heroes, eh?
Yes, ma'am.
And he is one, eh? But I never got the man's name. All he just referred to him as a man. A man. And that man kept going to the cable office, getting the little notices from Puerto Rico and bringing it to him, and he would read it on the air. That little bit of information I thought I should share.
That is
yes,
so good,
I
man.
shared it when I used to be an announcer, and now, well, I'm sharing it again. I'm putting it on a modern platform because young little GT and they may know nothing about nothing.
You're right.
Okay.
Thank you. She cracked us up, GT. She gave you one this morning.
Yeah, she gave you one. Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
That is so useful. That's the kind of advice you're looking at.
Yeah.
That's
interesting to know. So the man, that particular individual now had to run from the GBSS where she told us.
And now you use the appropriate word that is modern day, a runner. Because in modern communication, that's what we refer to somebody who goes, we call them a runner. He gets the information in between.
And
so
over there, come back and imagine the winds, the trees falling, galvanized probably, and all of that, and getting that information from one place to the next.
You know, interesting, that story with sitting with your children and telling them. And visualizing it for them. That is the kind of I just get the vibes from what this lady just shared. And when I could sit down and I could, tell my grandchildren, then look, this is what happened with us. And they were like, really? And we went to GBSS and I said, GBSS, the barracks that we had there and all of that, it forms part of our history, and I wonder where that information is recorded otherwise officially.
Great. We have another caller. Caller live. Good morning, welcome.
Yeah, my name is
McIntyre.
My name is McIntyre. And
hey,
also to
good morning, sir.
Review.
Yeah, man.
I just joined the program because I was in another activity. And I heard a former co-worker was speaking, and I think she's very helpful in helping us to put into context what happened at the time.
Yes, ma'am.
I just want to expand a little about the issue of the radio. We have to understand that not many people had radio in spite of the fact, and she did mention, we alluded to that. So although the message would have been sent out by the governor and so on, not many people heard that, because then it was also limited to certain areas in St. George's. What I think happened more than anything else, people got a message from indigenous knowledge. Some people were able to, and some of them told me that, for instance, the Brentwood tree and the Bacano tree was some of the signal that something was going to happen. They didn't know, but something was happening. And also the behavior of some of the animals. So in those days, those were some of the communicators of what was going to happen, what is in the process of happening. So a lot of people was then caught by, surprised because they might not have expect the extent to which the hurricane came, So we need to help our people to understand that, it's not like how we are fortunate now we can get up to date, to the minute information so that we could help to protect ourselves. The only thing I think, we don't really use the opportunity as we should, in preparing. Thank you very much.
Thank you, caller. Thank you.
And his contribution to
that's a good point. Because folks, I just said before, the technology was not available at the level it is today. And so folks had to make their own decisions, because of the way the trees move.
And they had to use, I think he is referring to the Bacano leaf and the breadfruit, they would turn backward, right? Yeah. Almost. And you'd see like the whitish, glarish side that would come out. So that tells you that wind and the atmosphere is changed.
Okay, great. We do have another caller. Caller live. Good morning. Welcome.
Good morning, GT and Mr. McIntyre.
Yes, sir. Good day.
What the guys say about the breadfruit tree and the Bacano tree, that's what the old time people used to use to know whether they said the lift turn. I had a couple of years, so I know certain little things, I remember also my grandmother and grandfather, they go outside and they look at certain area and they say the weather going to be bad. According to where they see the weather coming from, they say if you're coming from a certain area and the north, it won't be bad, or the south, it will be bad. You know, they look at those kind of things. Because I remember my father, I used to go in the garden with my father, and he never had a watch on his hand, and he go and stand up in the middle of where is nowhere, where is not a tree, and he could tell you direct 12 o'clock. You understand? So the old people, they had a kind of instinct. And as the guy said, the goat and the cow used to just prance. That used to happen, you know, in those days. Anyway, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you, caller. Thank you again.
You know, so I wish we still could have get a little bit more, you know, that in depth of what happened, especially on the day of Hurricane Janet.
Yes,
you know,
yes, we're getting a few pieces.
I mean, I'm happy for what we're receiving now,
right?
You know, but a little bit more. Someone could give us a little more insight, a little more detail.
And I'm getting the sense here that there probably wasn't any real way of, like, you know, like a NADMA office or a NERO office or an office.
Well, as one of the callers said, there was not a Met office.
There was no Met office either. Yeah, because I remember even if, you know, I think the emergency response was generated from not even Hurricane Ivan.
Yeah,
I think it was in the 1970s. Well, I remember the volcano Kikem Jenny started in 1939.
Yes.
Erupting. But I think in the 1970s, when they had the increased eruption where it came beyond the surface, is when they actually established that desk in Prime Minister's office. I mean, it's still there, where they started doing those things. So it would have been difficult for people to have an organized way of getting information.
Okay, we do have another caller. Yeah. Caller live, good morning, welcome.
Good morning, Mr. McIntyre. Good morning, GT.
Yes, morning, sir. Good day.
Good morning to the entire trial and state. I was told briefly by my mother, right, that the night of the hurricane, the only move they could have made is when the lightning flashed. First outside was dark. And could you imagine they had to leave one house to go to another because there's fall. And it's the flash of the lightning they had to use to go across, because torch and flashlight, they couldn't work. So that's my contribution.
I love that.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir. I really love that. You know, if you're putting the pieces, I wish the entire program was, we had people calling from the time we said this morning that you could have, because those little pieces, they are so useful.
And when you add them up together, you get to understand what really took place.
That's correct, because this gentleman, I never heard that before. I mean, those are double jeopardy.
Yeah.
Imagine you're there, total darkness, you don't have a light, and you have to, the light of the lightning itself is dangerous,
yes,
but you have to depend on that light to move.
In order to move.
Oh, wow.
So what happens when the lightning was not flashing?
You were crawling somewhere, just hiding.
We do have a caller, which may be our final caller for the morning. Caller live, good morning. We do have a WhatsApp caller also, but we'll take this one.
Caller, I just remembered another little piece that I heard in a program, that the one time Minister Dabrio, a lightning flash, and they saw his crib going out to the river, and somebody snatched him. Mr. Dabrio, he's still alive. He could tell us if that is true or not. But that was on a program. That is how people got rescued and thing, you know. A lot of, when the rivers swell and washing through houses and thing, people got washed away.
Okay.
Yes?
Oh,
but
man.
Mr. Dabrio is a living one. Okay.
Thank you. Thank you. So McIntyre, I've just been, of course, by programming that we have to take a wrap. There's a press conference that we have to join.
Oh, yeah.
So we have to wrap for today. I would have loved that we could have gone the entire morning, because you see the calls are start coming in a bit late. And there's a caller via WhatsApp. My apology, but we're not able to take your call right now, because we do have to go to a press conference. So McIntyre, anything in closing before we take a wrap?
We probably encourage some more, because, you know, embracing our history and our experiences, we probably I might be able to encourage it a little bit more, because that won't be too late down the road.
Yeah.
We could probably invite that too.
All right. Thank you. Hey, folks, that's how we're going to take a wrap for today's edition of To The Point. Thank all who contributed. Have yourself a great day, folks. Goodbye.